Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the Bank Marketing Show. We're sure glad to have you guys as listeners here with us today. And really excited about our guest today and some of the cool stuff around, I'm not going to spoil it. So I'm just going to welcome you, Dan, and let you intro what we're going to talk about and Emily, and super excited about this one.
Okay, I can do that. Welcome Emily Schwartz to the show.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
I know you're kind of a long-time listener, first-time guest.
You said it, not me.
But it's good to have you on here. We've chatted before and kind of caught up on stuff, and I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about today. So, if you're listening, you probably saw the episode title and the little write-up. But we're talking today about education, financial education, which is a little different than marketing, but all super related. So Emily Schwartz is Director of Financial Education at MidFirst Bank, which is a $40 billion bank. You're based in Oklahoma City, but you're not based there. There's branches all over the Southwest. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. We're all over the Southwest. We've got a big market in Arizona, which is where I'm located. So,
yeah, and but you also do a lot of other things. Right? You didn't start out as a banker.
No.
You kind of found yourself in that realm. So let's start. Tell us a bit about your background and kind of how you tell us that whole story of where you started, how you ended up.
Sure. Happy to do that. Yeah. So I started in the education space, actually. So I was a teacher. That was my first career, first love. Did that for a number of years. Burned out hard on that, as one does, and was like, well, surely there's other ways to educate the community, right? It's not just one way to do that. So I fell into the training space for a little bit, did that for a little while, loved that. Went back to school, got my PhD. I was going to be a college professor. But then while that was happening, MidFirst Bank got a partnership with Arizona State University at the time when I was getting my doctorate. And it was a really good time for that to happen in my career because they were looking to build their education space. And I was wondering if I actually wanted to be a college professor. All of my friends a couple of years ahead of me in the program were moving out of state in order to go take these, tenure track jobs. And while I loved it, I mean, I loved the research and the talking to people and the teaching people, like that was all very much my jam. But we had really made a home here in Arizona, and I just didn't know that that's where I wanted to take my next leap. And it was really serendipitous because MidFirst was looking for, to fill this role of, financial educator, to help educate not only our, university students, but just the community as a whole. And I kind of took a leap and thought, well, let's do that. I've always been very passionate about finances and financial literacy. I mean, this wasn't a huge leap in interest at all, but I got the job and helped build this program. And 13 years later, here I am. It's been a really fun journey. I mean, MidFirst was 10 billion when I started. We're 40 billion now. We've gone into markets while I've been here, and just that whole journey of building something has been a really cool thing to be a part of. That's the part that I'm passionate about, is building things and being a fixture in the community. And MidFirst allows us to do that, which is phenomenal.
That's great. Well, tell us about your role and your team, specifically. Like, what do you financial education? But tell us more what that means at MidFirst.
Yeah, sure. So I know it means a lot of different things at a lot of different banks, and it's housed in different places at different banks. Mm-hmm. So here at MidFirst, financial education is housed in the marketing department. We have a team of 30 plus marketing people, most of which are in Oklahoma. We've got 2 of us out here in Arizona, and we're very proud of it. And our primary program is called Money Moments. So Money Moments is our consumer-facing financial education brand. It's the Money Moments powered by MidFirst Bank is what the brand name is when we go out and speak to schools and businesses and things like that. And we have a team of 6 of us. So we have people based here in Arizona. We have people based in Oklahoma City. And we also have people based on the University of Oklahoma campus. We have a partnership with the university. And there, our financial education is really special. We have a Money Coach branded program where we have an office in the main, like this is not a satellite thing off campus. This is on campus, is the Money Coach office in the center of student life, where students can come in and ask one-on-one money questions and get those answers. It's
Wow.
a really, really cool program. We are super proud of it. We are integrated into all parts of campus life, from the student athletes to, the admissions process to the student recruiting. We do a lot of speaking during those summer orientation sessions when the wide-eyed students are there for the first time and they need help with everything, and we're there to offer the money help. So it's a really, really cool program. But those are kind of all the pots that we play in.
It's a
cool
long-winded way of starting out in a university, leaving to go work in a bank, and then working back in a university.
It just all comes back, doesn't it? I know. But I think that's what's so appealing about this job to me, quite frankly, is, you think of education as being in the nonprofit space, in the not-for-profit space. And you don't think about it as being genuine in a company like a bank, or at least I didn't until I lived in this world. And now that I live in this world, it's just such a natural fit. Like, of course, you'd want to be doing this as a bank, as a financial institution, and you'd want to do it well. So I will always be thankful for MidFirst that they hired this person out of education. They didn't need to do that. I mean, I have a PhD, not an MBA, right? But that they saw the value in that and what that could bring to a program. I will always be grateful for that. I work for a company that values that.
Well, Emily, you're another hat that you wear as well is your connection and teaching at bank marketing school.
Yes, absolutely.
And before, just kind of spoiler alert here. So before the podcast started, I pulled out mine from when I was a lowly student in bank marketing school, and lo and behold, and I flipped open my handy dandy notebook, and there on the advisory board is Emily Schwartz. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah. I know that too. So no, but I bet bank marketing school has been a really cool thing for you to be a part of and cast a net far and wide for you.
Oh, for sure. I mean, this is by far the best professional thing I've been involved in, just in terms of career growth and personal growth. I was a student at bank marketing school in 2019. Loved it. Couldn't say enough about it. Joined the advisory board that next year. Mm-hmm. And COVID happened. So we had a couple virtual years, but we've been back to in-person the past couple of years. And then I joined the faculty last year. I teach their content marketing class, which is fantastic. So every April, join us in Atlanta. We would love to see you. You'll get a personal high five from Emily Schwartz, I guarantee.
There you go. Love it.
Those are coveted, so
Yeah. Well, and that fits well because you're under the marketing umbrella, as you say, in financial education, and great fit. So cool stuff.
Yeah, no, it really is. And honestly, that's another thing that I value about my role, is that I could see how a role like this, a program like this, could be very siloed. That is there. It could be its own little thing. It's a side little thing. And that's just not how we approach it. I mean, this did not begin as a marketing initiative. This was not something that the marketing team got together and said, hey, we should have a program. Let's call it Money Moments. This was something that came from upper management, said, this is important. This is a core value of ours. Let's make this happen. And you feel that working at the bank. Financial education is not an extra thing. It permeates everybody's job, both customer facing and not. And I think that's why this works so well, is it's very well supported by everybody.
I think that's one of those things that consumers can see through pretty easily, right? If the bank's not in it, not that any bank, right? Not that any bank doesn't believe in financial education, but if it feels like an afterthought, if the way it's delivered, feels like an afterthought, or it's a lot of, kind of generic sounding blogs, that type of stuff, then is it really educating? Are you really adding more kind of true educational content to the world versus what somebody can get on 17 other other websites? And there's a big difference there of just like if it's a tiny part of, hey, we got to write more blogs, or what are we going to do them on? Let's do some educational topics. That's a much different approach than what MidFirst has done of, hey, no, we are educating, and then education and marketing work together to figure out how to educate more people.
Oh, absolutely. The way I frame it to people is, I hear a lot of people say, oh, this checks a good box. Like, this is checking a box. And that's where I push back a little bit and say it's not checking a box, it's filling a need. That need can be on both sides. I mean, hey, this benefits the bank. Obviously, it benefits the bank, but it also benefits the community. And so if you view it as this checks that box, when you say that, then that's what you believe. And then that's how you act. You act as you're delivering the service like it's checking a box. Whereas if you, this is filling a need, you act differently, you behave differently, you present the service differently. And that's how we like to approach it.
Yeah.
Yeah, gosh, you were talking about the Money Coach program, and I have 3 stepkids and a daughter from 22 to 32. And I was sitting here thinking, as every one of them went into college and beyond and all of that, it was like, they didn't stop by that office. Not that they didn't go to ASU, but, but still, I was like, they didn't get that benefit. And they all, had upbringing in good schools and all those other kind of stuff. And I would imagine with that university partnership, Emily, that you guys have, I mean, fill us in, but I would imagine there's a huge diversity of backgrounds and levels of need and all of that kind of stuff. And in this day and age, we aren't going, well, here, I'm going to teach you how to balance a checkbook.
No,
that ain't how it rolls today. So
not how it rolls today.
I'm not aging us, but from when we came up, it's not that. Yeah.
No, and actually, I'm really glad you brought that up, because if you look at the research and the demographics, I mean, what we call a traditional college student, 18 to 24, and, first time college, that's just increasingly not what it is. I mean, we speak to students who are parents, who were in the workforce, who come back to school, all different, are doing all of that stuff while they're juggling classes. And that's not the weird thing. That's the norm right now. That's who the student population is. And I think a smart bank, part of that is being aware of those changing demographics. And you're absolutely right, Chris. It's not just, hey, everybody, here's how to balance a checkbook. It's here's how to balance your 3 part-time jobs that you're working right now so that you can also be a student. Here's how to balance trying to find infant care for your child while you are doing night school. I mean, it is all sorts of things that you hear. And gosh, if we can be the one to help those people, why wouldn't we be? We should be. I mean, I would argue that a financial institution should be the one delivering that kind of help. I mean, we're banks, for goodness sakes. Like, come on.
Yeah, Dan and I talk all the time about in the banking world, and the marketing element of banking is to address pain points for people. Yeah. So it's, I'm trying to figure out how to buy a car or whatever, fund a business, first-time home buyers, all these things, the whole plethora of things. So I love those examples that you talk about, and when it sounds like you guys are truly connecting with and educating people around, and really cool approach.
It's the niche problems that resonate more. The deeper you get into the niche problem of balancing 3 part-time jobs with night school with whatever in the finances that come along with that, like, yeah, does that serve is that a mass market problem? No, but it is at the university level, there's a crowd, but for that may be a small part of the market, but you do multiple small parts of the market. You understand those problems deeply, and you become the go-to place, for that. So you help somebody understand it broadly, and then you have the Money Coach program, and somebody can come in and ask more detailed questions, right? And you do more, right? You do things beyond the university too.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
Like, tell us about
so we the outside world. Yes, yeah. We reach adult audiences. We do a lot of workplace wellness programs where, hey, if you're part of our group banking program, we're giving you financial literacy resources either at a lunch and learn or on a webinar, as is becoming more the norm. So kind of a value add for our customers in that way. We obviously do a lot of K-12 stuff, go into schools. We do community groups. I'm out there on the conference circuit speaking at a number of different types of events. We definitely try to get into the community as many places as possible. Obviously, there's a CRA component. We're partnering with a lot of nonprofits. Yeah, sometimes it's a nonprofit. Maybe one of our bankers sits on a board of a nonprofit, and then they also want to, hey, in addition to this, maybe we also have a sponsorship, and then maybe we also provide some financial literacy for the clients that nonprofit serves, but then also the nonprofits themselves. I think there's this concern of coming across as providing advice to people that don't need it, right? Like, oh, we don't want to insult you by assuming that you know everything about money and like that you would need money questions. Everybody has money questions, literally every person. And the person that says they don't is lying because it is everybody has concerns about this very emotionally charged topic. And it's about finding where those concerns are and how we can address them as a bank.
So what are some things that you guys do? I mean, what channels do you do? Tell us about kind of the meat and potatoes, if you will, of kind of how financial education works for you guys.
Yeah. So the primary way that we get in front of people is these workshops. So we'll go in, do an in-person event, right? Because we are very fortunate to have these 6 people dedicated to this. We have the bandwidth to do that. And when we don't, we're sending somebody maybe from our fraud team or maybe from our personal banking team to go and do them. So there's that. That's virtual and in person. But we, of course, also have all of our content. So we are on all the socials, providing weekly social content on there that's surrounding financial education. We're constantly updating our website with blog content, all of the topics you'd expect and more, and driving people there. We've got lots of resources on our website where you might not be the end consumer of the advice, but maybe you are a teacher who needs resources to teach other people. So we're providing that you can then go implement in a classroom type situation. So lots of different avenues for people to get information from us, both on demand and live. We've got a YouTube channel, plug for our Money Moments YouTube channel, where we've got, 50 plus bite-sized videos, any number of financial education content topics that you can think of. It's just about finding the questions that need to be answered and then answering them in as many different formats as you can so that people can consume them whatever way they want, is kind of our approach.
Well, talk more about how you find the questions. So that's if you've listened to more than 1 or 2 episodes of the show, like we're constantly saying, like, get out real customer questions. You can talk about fixed versus ARM mortgage all day long. You could write a first-time homebuyer mortgage all day long. There's thousands of those articles out there. But, we just kind of mentioned a minute ago, like the niche problems. So what's your process? How do you work with other departments of the bank to understand that better?
Oh, Dan, let me tell you, I am the most obnoxious coworker you'd ever want to work with. I'll just tell you right now, because I'm always in everybody's faces. So what questions you got for me today? Who's been talking to you? What's going on? Who's been complaining? What's happening? And I get the best things from that. I get fraud complaints from that. I get things that people are saving for, things that people are doing, things that people misunderstand. I mean, yes, there's always the broader systematized way of doing it. Oh, you go on Google Trends. Oh, you go on Uber Suggest and you see what people are searching for. And yes, I'm not discounting any of that. It's great. But the best content that I get is when I hear it from a banker, from a teller, from someone who I just hounded and was saying, what do you got for me? And they'll get, okay, I'll give you an example. We've got a great performing video on our YouTube channel about cell phone safety tips for kids. That came from a banker suggestion because somebody was complaining that, we were talking about fraud and closing down an account for fraud. I forget exactly what led to it, but she was saying, well, what I'm really concerned about is my kid just got their first cell phone and I'm just, it's enough for me to be worried about, but they're 11 and what am I going to do about them? What if they're off making bad choices in the digital world? And so I was having this conversation with the banker and I thought, yeah, that's in our scope. Of course, that's in our scope of education. If you want to be a fraud educator, it's going to start with there. So we put this, 2-minute video together, 200,000 views. It's crazy. Because people want that. So I think there really is something to be said for when you get a question, answer it privately, but also answer it publicly. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. This doesn't have to be any harder than that. Give the customer the answer, but then give everyone the answer in the form of content.
Yeah, and you're not trying to tie that back to a checking account. You're not trying to tie it. It's just it's in the realm of, right. You want customers to be aware of fraud. You're protecting their financial lives, and that can easily touch that.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because no, we don't tie it to acquisitions and account openings. To me, yes, obviously, any outbound marketing is meant to make people aware of who we are, but it's also about impressing your current customers. I mean, that's my priority. We have all these people that are part of the MidFirst family as customers. Educate your family. Like they're here, help them and be seen helping them. I love it when we're doing a thing in a banking center. So we've got one tomorrow where we're going to invite people in and speak on a topic. I think we're talking about 10 ways to save money without drastically altering your lifestyle is the topic. I want customers to see that, even if they're not attending the seminar itself. Like I want them to see, oh, this is so cool. This is a hub in the community. Things happen at the MidFirst Bank. People walking by, we got sandwich signs outside, like sandwich board, like they can see what's happening. And I love that. So that's kind of what it's all about to me. No, we're not going to tie it to a checking account opening. I'm sure there's people that wish we would, but to me, it's not what it's about. It's taking care of your customers.
Yeah, that's a huge chunk of your brand is. Even if this seminar doesn't apply to me as a customer, I still see that you're doing that. I'm like, oh, MidFirst is helpful. And I should pay attention to their content because there's going to be something helpful for me at some point down the line that goes a huge way towards loyalty.
Isn't that just brand management 101 anyway? I mean, I try to take my banker hat off and just put my consumer hat on sometimes. I'm like, when I'm scrolling Instagram, what do I like to see that a brand does, that a company does? Oh, they're helping people. They're helpful. They might not be helping me, but look what they're doing. Like you want to do that. And it's not just, it's not just performative. I mean, you want to be doing this authentically and genuinely. Like that comes back to the checking a box. If it sounds like you're checking a box, people aren't going to be into it. So that's why you want to keep that authenticity up. And I think we do that really well.
Yeah. We tell our clients, it's like if somebody walked into your bank, into the lobby, and they asked, I mean, let's use your example. They've just started talking about their child getting a cell phone. You would say, sorry, that's not related. Go away. You'd help them, right? You'd work with them on it in whatever capacity you have. And for like online digital stuff, you don't have the person coming in, but you're doing, you've got a process to go around and figure out what people are talking about when they do come in and turn that into stuff. Because if somebody's asking you, I mean, from being an educator, if somebody's asking a question, there's probably 10 other kids in the classroom that have the same question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And especially there's that demographic of people that are embarrassed to ask the question. So I think one person's going to ask it. Yeah. There's 50 more that want the content, but just didn't know what they didn't know. They didn't know how to ask it. So that's kind of what we're doing.
Emily, one of the really interesting things is that several of our last few episodes have been about AI, and more specifically even about AI search and all of those things. And, things that people are looking for and utilizing real world, organic and authentic sounding questions rather than what's your rate on HELOCs or whatever bankers speak, that we all use all too often. Right. It's more the question of, we're trying to get money out of the equity in our house for a European vacation or what, I don't know what it is, but it's more the conversational and real and authentic, like you're saying. So it occurs to me what a beautiful process that you have there. And you said that you're hounding people. I see it as you're actually getting frontline information and engagement, the kind of questions that people are asking your tellers and your CSRs and your people, and what's real and boots on the ground. And that's really cool. And that you guys are pulling your content out of that, plays into that so well. And one of the things that I think is important, Emily, for a lot of our listeners aren't part of a $40 billion bank. They're more like part of a $400 million bank. And so, pulling that to that level, some of your thoughts around all that we've been discussing and how that can apply to or lessons for, smaller community banks as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm very fortunate to be at a bank with those kind of resources. And I understand that. But like I said, what I think makes this work is the culture of authentic financial education that we have, the fact that it comes from the top and we have that buy-in. And you can have culture at 500 million, you can have culture at 2 billion, you can have culture at 100 billion, right? That is the thing that you can have anywhere. So yes, we've got a team of 6. If you've got a team of 0.5, it's building that culture of financial education. Look, you're not going to hit everybody. I think there's a lot of this FOMO that we see. I mean, at bank marketing school, but also anywhere. I was just at bank marketing conference a couple months ago, and there's kind of this like, oh, everybody has more than me. Yeah, sure. Somebody's always going to have more and somebody's always going to have less. That's just life, right? And it's like you make the best of what you have. You don't have to educate everybody. Pick one group. Who do you bank? Who are your people? Right? We make the best of who we are in the market. We got university sponsorships. We have certain kind of business bankers. Great. That's us. You're not us. You're you. So who do you have? What boards do you sit on? Who's your community? Who do you have next door? And just pick one audience and start there. I would hate to see a bank fall victim to we can't do it all, so we're going to do nothing. Just start doing something. Start doing something and it'll grow. And that's how you get better.
Yeah. I think of it as like, who do you serve uniquely well? It's not everybody, but there's going to be somebody, no matter the size of your bank, there is some group that you serve better than your competition, better than other groups, not in a non-compliant way, but like, you specialize in first-time home buyers, you specialize in,
farmers, we've got several clients that are ag banks. Those are good examples.
Yeah. I work with a bank that was the only bank in their county that did loans on manufactured homes. And I'm like, you talk about that, right? And that's not everybody. You have tens of thousands of more customers than that, but you need to talk about that, and start and you've got a team of 6 and the bank can support that. And so you can talk to multiple groups, but if you're a smaller bank, I think what you're saying, right, is like, is pick that, put your stake in the ground and focus on that. You can add more stakes later.
Well, exactly. And I get the reasoning. I get why people want to make their content apply to everybody. We want to make it hit as many people as possible and make us applicable to the widest net. But you all know we're bombarded with content. We're bombarded with blogs. When it sounds like it's for everybody, it's for nobody. And so you want that thing that like, oh, they're speaking directly to me. And that's where you make that engagement, or at least that's what I've seen.
Emily, you're go ahead, Dan.
No, I was going to ask, on that note, right, so we can kind of scale down the scope of who we're talking to. But for a smaller bank, too, they might need to also scale down the channels or the process. Like, how would we think about, you said earlier, you talk to a lot of people and figure out the questions and then put it on as many channels as possible. Like, what are the most impactful parts of that? If somebody's the 0.5, right, or even less, right? If you're the marketing person at a smaller bank and you also, this is also in your realm, like what do you say to somebody like that to start, on an education path? What are the most impactful pieces to start with?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's kind of goes back to what you said, is that pick one thing and do it well. I would hate for someone to think, oh, well, I have to be on all the social channels and then also have a million blogs about this and also have a podcast and also have this. Just pick one. Maybe you're not putting it on socials. Maybe you're only doing web content and you're driving people to your website with blog stuff. Great. Okay, so great. So that's starting something. Just do it well. Do it well, do it consistently, do it conversationally so that it actually moves the needle on getting people to your website. You don't want to spread yourself too thinly and trying to be doing everything. But that being said, this is just content marketing 101, right? Like, take a blog and, oh my gosh, now you also have a social post. Like, once you have that idea, it's about taking that idea and repurposing it in a lot of different formats. And that part is not as labor intensive as the original idea. How can you make this one idea be as many different forms of content as you can?
Emily, a little bit more too about, you were talking about your connection with Frontline, okay, and you're touching them, and that is regardless of the scale of the bank size, to me is something that is really important. So for clients of ours that are 5 branches, across the northern part of Alabama, and that's their scope and size, there's still the challenges there, even at that scale, of getting buy-in from the branch managers and doing all of these things. Don't you think that connectivity, even if it's coming from that one person marketing director, and trying to get those frontline questions and pulling toward that content has a good bit to do with that culture and even the internal relationships there that, again, that's kind of the backroom parts of marketing that can be really cool, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. The conversations that happen between marketing and every other department at the bank are so crucial. And I think a lot of it is empowering those frontline team members in other departments that financial literacy, financial education doesn't just live with us. It lives everywhere, empowering them to be able to speak on these topics. It's not just a job. You're a money professor that works at Bank University. Look at that. And that's the role that we all play in the community. My soapbox is I wish more people viewed banks like that. I think us as an industry can do a lot to make us the knowledge centers. And you go to your doctor for wellness advice. Why wouldn't you go to your bank for financial advice, right? I trust my doctor because they made me better, not because they gave me an x-ray. I trust my bank not because they opened a checking account, but they helped my life get better. And to me, that permeates everything. We're not just people that work at the bank. We're people that solve people's money problems. And when you empower everybody at the bank to think like that, yeah, you've got your cultural buy-in. Absolutely. It's not just a thing you do, it's a thing you live. And that's what we're all working towards, regardless of asset size. Anybody can do that.
And don't you think that is also, to take that one step further, is you've alluded to it through several things that you talked about, is that content has real value.
Yes.
It's not about rates. It's not about this. It's not about that. It's value, which is humanness.
Yes.
Don't you think? Yeah.
Absolutely. And, it all comes back to, I know that trust is the big word in the banking industry. We all want to be trustworthy. But to me, there's like two levels of it, right? There's trust with a lowercase t and trust with a capital T. Trust with a lowercase t is we trust you that you'll keep our money safe. We trust that you'll be open when you say you are, that you'll answer our questions and blah, 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 blah. And that's great. That's table stakes baseline. Trust with a capital T is that special thing that you earn through things like this, through financial education initiatives that I trust the bank to help me when my kid gets their first job, when I buy my first house. I forward that blog. I don't just read the blog, I forward it to my friends because look at what MidFirst Bank helped me do. They're at the dinner conversation, we're saying, oh, I learned this from this, and I feel empowered to ask a banker this question. That's the next level trust that I think a program like this and initiatives like this buy you. And that's the kind of thing we want to be delivering in the community.
Man, amen. I mean,
I know I'm preaching to the choir here.
I mean, it is. And I hope that that's so inspirational to our listeners, and also reachable. Again, regardless of bank size, whether you're a 0.5 or a 16-person marketing department or whatever in between, that is such value. And to me, that's the heartbeat of community banking and banking and all of that is about that connectivity with people. And that's very, very well said.
At the end of the day, we're all humans serving other humans. And I think we're all on the same team in that regard. We're trying to be better as an industry, serve the need. I mean, oh my goodness, I never saw myself going into banking. I mean, as a 19-year-old college student, I never thought that I'd be here. But what a delicious industry to be in. I mean, it's this industry that we all need. Everybody spends money. It's not like some niche product we're selling that, only some small percentage of the population needs. Everybody needs it. Everybody has this emotional connection to it. It's out there. And so why wouldn't we be utilizing that to our advantage, right? This is a thing that everybody worries about. And here we are, the providers of trust and help in that regard. That's why it's just, I don't know. It's not a, do we want to educate? It's how are you doing it? Because it's our role, quite frankly, in this whole industry.
Yeah, it's another, if you're getting at the real problems, it's a huge differentiating point, right? I mean, we're talking about not tying it back to checking accounts, right? A lot of banks do that, or a lot of banks, if you don't have an education component, then all you have is the checking accounts and other products. But the education is sort of the core of, it can turn into marketing pieces, it can turn into workshops, it can turn into trust building, and it does all these different things. And, and it's, as a community bank, it's your job is to help the community. And so, what better way to do it than through educational, programs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I like what you're saying about being a community fixture, because that truly is what it's all about. I mean, when you're differentiating, when you're trying to be just like everybody else, you have the same blog that AI wrote that everybody else has. That doesn't do anything. It's how are you different? Who are you serving? How can you serve it uniquely well because of your brand positioning and where you are and who your customers are? And that's why, I'll just say again, I know that it's harder with fewer resources if you're, at a different asset size or whatever, but it's just coming back to picking the people to serve that are there. Like, who are you serving? Who do you serve well? And starting there and growing from there.
Yeah.
I've seen it done. I've got friends at other banks doing wonderful things. I know it's possible because I see it with my eyeballs. So,
well, and I want to, to that end of kind of who it's helping. Like, I want to kind of end on not specific statistics, but just some sense of the scale and the impact that your team has had on the bank. Right, we're not tying it back to like account opens, but I know you mentioned when we were kind of prepping for the episode, like your content goes to 30,000 plus.
We speak to 30,000 people. We reach 30,000 people at our online and in-person events through our team of 6. And, we have bazillion impressions on our, we track all the metrics, right? We track all the metrics of our Facebook and LinkedIn impressions and things like that. So it gets out there a lot. It's amazing. But to me, yes, that's what we report in our quarterly reports. But the thing that makes it really special for me that I'm always forwarding around is when you get that email from somebody who says, hey, I was in a Money Moments workshop 2 years ago, and I was telling you how I was struggling to pay off my car, and I didn't think I'd ever be out of debt, and I was so stressed out about it, and I want to let you know that I got myself on a budget, and I saved up for, I was making additional making additional debt payments on my car, got it paid off, and I'm not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. I don't get those every day, but when I get those, man, I forward that to literally everybody in the bank. I'm like, look what we're doing. This is it, folks. This is what it's all about, is because they're going to remember that. They're going to remember that forever.
Oh, they're not going to just remember it. They're going to become your best advocate
Absolutely.
for it. They're going to scream that from the mountaintop, right?
Yeah. And I know that that's one person and you want to have data and I'm not discounting any of that, but it's those stories that you hear of someone who it actually helped. And yeah, they are MidFirst advocates for life. They will always remember who helped them. And that's what you want. You're not just the place they have the checking account. You're someone we care about and want to help. And when we do get to see that, it's really, really special.
Yeah. And I think that's a great motivation for the smaller banks listening, right? Like you've got impact in the five digits of people and lots of impressions, and I think a reason a lot of smaller banks might not go so hard into the education side is like they're thinking about the ROI, but so you're as a smaller bank, your numbers might not be in the tens of thousands, but like if you can have that impact where you're getting people coming in and talking about their stories and how you've helped, that you're having an impact. And again, it's like the reverse of what I said earlier with the questions of like, if you've got one person telling you that story, there's probably a dozen more that, you've had a similar impact on that just haven't told you.
Oh, absolutely. And I understand the ROI discussion. I understand the need for data. I get all of that. But at the end of the day, we all have our core values. I have mine on my coaster right here. We all do. And it's just, are those words on a coaster or are you living them? And this is how you live them. It's how you live them for your community. And it's something that I'm really proud of. That I work for an organization that values it, and quite frankly, an industry that values it, which is great.
Yeah. It's really cool that you get to see that both through your job and your role with Bank Marketing School and all of that you get to see that permeate through the industry. And that's the coolest thing. My team talks about it all the time, Emily. I've got 16 folks on my team, and that's the big thing that we talk about a lot. Is for us, it's the blessing of working in this industry that is just full of what you just described, and people that actually, for the most part, are passionate and care about those types of things. And this financial education piece, like I said, it's got numbers tied to it. It's got content value. It's got all those kind of things, and it's a big marketing engine. But at the same time, it's really, really making a difference, and that's just super cool.
Yeah,
great.
it is super cool, Chris. You're right.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we can't let you get out of here without the lightning round.
Mhm.
Lightning round.
So if you're ready.
Right.
All right. Well, share a personal best or a business best or a little of both.
Yeah, well, let's see. I feel like I've already said my business best a million times, which is bank marketing school. Best thing I ever did for my career, and I would love to see you all there. So if you want to register, go for it. It's on the ABA website, April 18th through 24th. We'd love to see you. But let's see, I'll give you an obnoxious personal best. How's that? This year, I got my half marathon time under 2 hours. And if you think that sounds like bragging, it absolutely is bragging, 1000%, because it was really difficult, but I'm really proud of myself.
Super cool. Congrats.
Yeah.
That's a lot of shoes.
But you guys were working on that training. I will say I listened to several Bank Marketing Show podcasts while training for that. So thank you. Thank you guys for
What
that.
could be more exciting and
That's what I'm
motivating for a
saying.
long run?
That's what I'm saying to you, right? Come on.
We need to do just like a series of episodes that's tied to, a training plan. Here's what you listen to on your long run every week. And we'll make the episodes longer and longer as the training goes on.
I love this, Dan.
Maybe not. Maybe that's going too far. But what's your favorite book or other resource?
Yeah. So let's see. A book I read this year that made me go, was Inspired by Matt Richtel it's about creativity, like where creativity shows up in various different jobs and industries and how you cultivate it and what you do with it. I thought it was a really cool read and I recommend it. Inspired.
Oh, cool. Check that one out. What is the most impactful piece of advice you've ever received?
Yeah. So my dissertation advisor, her name is Sandy Stauffer at Arizona State University. She is one of the most brilliant humans I have ever had the pleasure of working with. And I'm going to send her this podcast so she can hear me say that because that's how thankful I am. She would always say that you want to surround yourself with smart people and you'll never stop learning. And I just try to live that every day. I mean, I'm a serial learner. I love reading. I love listening to podcasts. I love all of that. But I think the stuff you learn the most is surrounding yourself with these smart people. And I am so fortunate that I have that in my coworkers and in my thriving professional network that I've built. I mean, oh my gosh, they're just the smartest people, coolest people you'd ever want to meet. And I feel very grateful that I have a network of people that I can ask questions and, bounce ideas off of and brainstorm ideas with. It's both personally and professionally invigorating. And I'm very grateful for it.
That's great. What's something that you always tell your team or your customers?
Yeah, absolutely. So I tell people at every class I ever teach, every conversation I ever have, every conference I ever speak at, zoom out. That is my mantra. I want to wear it on my forehead. We dive into details too quickly all the time, and it muddies things and it gets a message messed up. It's a reason people don't communicate well with each other. We jump too quickly into details. Zoom out. Tell me the thing you're trying to say. Just say it. Just say it in words. Put it on a bumper sticker. Tell me what the thing is that you're trying to say, and then jump into the details. We have this negative impression of simplifying messages. And I know that because we use phrases like dumb it down. Oh, we're going to have to dumb this down for people. It is not dumbing it down. There is nothing dumb about simplicity. Zoom out. That's elevating. That's elevating your message and your communication. And I think that's something that I try to live. I try to inspire it in my team and everybody that I speak to. I think it's one of the stumbling blocks of making progress and innovating in any industry. So it's something I believe very strongly.
I love it.
That's a great one.
Cool. Thank you.
Well, how can people get in touch with you beyond the bank marketing school? And
I guess just follow me on LinkedIn, Emily Schwartz. You can find. I'm wearing this color in my. Well, you can't see if you're listening. I'm wearing a blue shirt in my profile picture, so that's Schwartz that you're looking for.
We'll put the link in the show notes too, so people can find you.
There you go. Yeah, and truly, please reach out. I relish good conversations, so I would love to have a conversation with anybody listening about how we can do this more and how we can do this better as an industry, because I'm very passionate about it and love those types of follow-up. So please reach out.
Great. Well, thank you for coming on the show. It's been super fun conversation, and I've definitely sort of changed my thought structure on the best way to go about an educational program, and hopefully folks listening have gotten some ideas, some inspiration on what they can do in their own institutions, and just really appreciate you coming and sharing your world with us.
Thank you to both of you. This was a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
Pleasure to have you. Thank you, Emily.
Thanks for joining us. To go deeper or get access to some of the valuable nuggets from today's show, go to bankmarketingshow.com. There you'll find episodes, links to resources, and much more. Be sure to subscribe wherever you find your podcasts. And join us next time.